Hey, what up, everybody? This is Stevie Breach coming to you. I saw this story here about Stone Cold Steve Austin asked about his role at Wrestlemania, and I honestly was sort of let down by the story that was put there. It was honestly an interview that Stone Cold Steve Austin did with Ring Rust Radio, where he talked about, what he thinks the expectations of WrestleMania 32 are, and I'm really would like to know when this interview took place, because I bet you it was before the whole Shane McMahon deal went down with Monday Night Raw, and I bet you a lot like everyone that was watching at home, I bet you that Stone Cold Steve Austin had no idea that Shane McMahon was back inside of the company, and I bet that changes a lot about what is going down. Basically, what I didn't like about this interview was that Stone Cold Steve Austin, went out on the record, basically taking shots at Roman Reigns, saying that Roman Reigns wasn't ready, and that he's basically taking on more than he can chew, and it's going to be interesting what WWE does to try to pull out the tricks to see what they can do to pull off the main event of Roman Reigns against Triple H going out there. Basically, Stone Cold Steve Austin said he didn't know what his role for WrestleMania wasn't going to be. He hasn't talked to anybody about it. He just says that he expects to be in Dallas, Texas, and he expects that once he gets there, they're going to tell him that they have something for him, and he's just basically going to see what it is before what it is. I know that on the record, on the podcast, Stone Cold Steve Austin said that he was going to WrestleMania 32, that he was going to be there. He had some ideas that he was going to bounce off creative, and he didn't know if they were going to take him, if they were going to leave him, but basically he wants to be a part of WrestleMania. I think that he sees this event coming up in Dallas as something special, and I think that if there was something he could do to help, I think he would want to do it. I think he notices from listening to the podcast that the roster is in a little bit of a bind, and that's probably one of the reasons why Shane McMahon is back inside of WWE. WWE took a chance, and they really knocked it out of the park. I don't think anybody would have thought Shane McMahon would get the reaction that he did when Here Comes the Money played on Monday Night Raw. But, the one thing that's been bouncing off of my mind, what they could do with WrestleMania is, a lot of people are thinking that Stone Cold Steve Austin is going to be a special guest referee or some sort of a special outside enforcer. Honestly, in my mind, what has worked the past few years with WrestleMania, whether if it's Hulk Hogan, The Rock, and Stone Cold Steve Austin coming out at WrestleMania 30 to start the show with their beer bash, or if you talk about, the Sting versus Triple H match, when we finally got to see the battle of WWE versus WCW, the Monday Night War played out right in our minds, the dream match that we never thought we were going to see, the NWO against DX. Is that basically, the old stuff sells. It has a special place in every one of our hearts. Although, new fans do go to WrestleMania, there are people who just sort of have been watching for not a little bit long, not that long, but I think most of the diehard people that travel each and every year to WrestleMania because it is their Super Bowl, it is their WrestleMania, they have a soft spot in their heart for the vintage guys, and, there's nobody bigger than The Rock and Stone Cold Steve Austin. I know that The Rock has come out publicly with that Instagram post basically saying that he is booked to be a part of WrestleMania 32. He's going to be there. A lot of people speculated that he was going to have a match, whether if that was against somebody like Roman Reigns or if that was going to be against somebody like Brock Lesnar or something like that. But what I would do is basically have the match that's going to go down between. I'd probably want to use these guys in the WWE match because although these guys were around during the invasion, Stone Cold Steve Austin, of course, turning on Vince and fighting for WCW because he got his feelings hurt that he wasn't the number one guy by Vince McMahon and Vince wouldn't give him the hug and all that stuff that went down. I honestly think that they're a big part. You remember those promos that started off the Invasion pay-per-view that I just beyond the point of finding them funny was classy Freddie Blassie standing up in front of the WWF locker room basically saying you got to go out there and you got to win one for us because if WCW wins we're going to lose everything and blah blah blah. And I understand that a lot of these guys respect Freddie Blassie, but I doubt that a lot of these guys even watched Freddie Blassie matches from back in the day. But it is what it is. But I wouldn't be surprised that maybe during the Undertaker and Shane McMahon match that you have Vince and you have Stephanie or somebody like this come out and try to, either help The Undertaker or make sure that Shane loses. It's preposterous that you even have to think that Undertaker is going to need help to beat Shane McMahon. But they're going to pull everything out of their bag of tricks, and I can see Vince coming down, trying to get involved in this match one way or another. And what is a bigger moment of all time than Stone Cold Steve Austin coming out and hitting a stunner on Vince McMahon to make sure that he does not cheat or do something in this? So in the end, he would be an outside enforcer, but I think the point of we don't know that he's coming, even though a lot of people at WrestleMania 30 knew that he was coming, you knew in your mind that Stone Cold Steve Austin was coming to WrestleMania. It was his first one that he was attending in years. He's going to be on the show some way, but we didn't really know he was coming, but you could feel it. And I knew people that called The Rock was coming out before The Rock actually came out as well, but I don't know. That's my guess. We all know that Stone Cold Steve Austin is going to be a part of WrestleMania 32. He's not going to wrestle Brock Lesnar like a lot of us thought he was going to, but I can see him coming out and hitting that stunner on Vince to make sure that he's not a part of the big match with Shane and Undertaker.